Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Itunu.
I don't know why we have to go over this every time.
Yes, can I help you?
It's me that wants to help you.
So today I'm featuring this beautiful damsel here
Okay.
on this channel that I've worked so hard to build over the years. So yeah, welcome. What's your name? Introduce yourself to the guests.
Hi
To our audience.
guys. My name is Itunu.
Hey, no impersonation here, okay?
Okay, you are the one that's okay. What do you even say? Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Itunu Pepper. If you are seeing me for the very first time, I've got Mr.
Iniolua here.
Mr. Iron. Mr. Iron. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about something a little sensitive.
Yeah.
And before we jump in, I think we should give a little bit of a disclaimer.
This is our story.
Yeah.
In no way, in no shape, and in no form are we telling you to do what we did. This is our story. Basically, all I'm trying to say is that this is our story.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to say. Okay?
Yeah.
I just feel like I had to put that out there.
Without further ado, let's jump in. At some point when we were dating, a friend/acquaintance of mine, Tosin Bokno, passed away from sickle cell disease. And I remember how I was just so like, I don't know what the word is. I was really drained emotionally. She used to play my music on the radio, like steady. On Twitter, I remember the day when they're playing songs on Twitter, they would tag you and be like, oh, such and such is playing blah, blah, blah song. And they would tag you. And she was just always consistently playing my songs.
Yeah.
So I met her one day at a studio and I was like, oh my gosh, I finally get to meet you, blah, 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 blah. And then we're like, oh yeah, let's link up another day. So one day she told me she was in the studio and I couldn't come. So she's like, okay, like rain check, you know. And then the last time I saw her was on my way to the Netherlands and I saw her, she was on her way to New York. And then we met in the airport again and she's just great people. Like she's really just a great person.
Yeah.
And so when the news came, I was like, yeah.
It was shocking
just
and it
really
was
shocking.
everyone like heard it.
So I went to look it up and I was like, wait, what? Like, what the heck? You know?
Yeah.
And then we started talking about it because we had never
Talked about our genotypes, yeah. And so we were like, okay, you know what, let's go, do a test for genotype. I kind of knew my genotype was AS, but I was hoping I was wrong.
But I thought my genotype was AA for the longest time. Literally thought I was AA. I don't know why.
Yeah. So we went to FMC and we did the tests.
You went to FMC.
I went to FMC, yeah.
I went to my hospital. Okay. And for anyone who's watching who is not conversant with genotypes, AS, AA, SS, blah, 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 essentially, everybody has a combination of it's genotype, a combination of A, S, or combination of A or S.
Yeah.
Or A and S. So basically
there's C as well now.
Yeah, which is very, very rare.
Very rare, yeah.
But in most cases, it's a combination of 4.
Yeah.
Or 3 types of genotypes.
Yeah.
So basically, those that have AA are like literally they don't even have.
They're like gold.
They are not the carriers of sickle cell disease at all. So they can't even transfer it to their children. People with AS are carriers and therefore can transfer it to their children. So if they both have S's and their genotypes, they come together, their children can either be AA, AS, or SS. So we knew that there was a 25% chance that us coming together could birth a child with sickle cell disease.
Yeah.
So that was why it was important for us to be sure what our genotype was.
In Nigeria, it's very easy to like do genotype tests. So if you're watching and you want to do your genotype test, just go to the hospital and say, I think for me, I paid like maybe 1,000, 1,500 to get it done. They just draw your blood and then they do what they need to do, and it can come out the same day or a few days after. Anyway, so I did my test and I came out with AS. I don't even know how I felt. I was like, oh well, this is it. There's nothing to feel about it.
So it was now left to mine.
Yeah.
And I think I remember we opened it together in my car at the time. I try to remember when I got it from the hospital and opened it, and I just like told him, and he was like, "Are you serious?" Like the reality, when you're like in your honeymoon phase,
and your AS as well.
You're in the butterflies and the green grass and the blue skies time, and then sometimes reality needs to reality. And then we had this first like stumbling block in the way of our genotypes. So we're like, you see?
So, I mean, when she told me, I was like, okay. I processed it, asked her, are you sure? She said yes. And then I looked at the paper and I'm like, oh yeah, well, so basically we're AS.
Yeah.
And we have to stand the chance of giving birth to sickle cell children, and normally that's like a deal breaker for many people. But I just at that point in time, I think I was really like, I think what I said to you was like, how many like
Obstacle.
obstacles do you have to go through in life to find love and to marry someone you love? Because it's like, first of all, it's a jungle out there. Those that are dating or those that are single, that it's a jungle out there.
It's the ghetto.
It's the ghetto. So, first of all, to find someone that you can trust, someone that you have values that align with, and someone that understands you and that you get,
Yeah.
and then you scale that, and you get someone that is ready to commit, and you're ready to commit to,
Yeah.
and then you scale that, and then all of a sudden they just pull this stop from nowhere. So
Yeah.
at that point, I think I just set my mind that what. For me, this is not going to be a deal breaker. I will walk through it. A lot of things already came up in my mind. I'm like, okay, there's IVF, there's a way they do selection and all those things. Those are the things we told ourselves. I feel like
but
I
that
told
was
myself to
so
comfort myself.
unrealistic. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, IVF is freaking expensive. Second of all, it's freaking difficult.
Yeah.
It's painful. It's
Yeah.
traumatic. Like, people just feel like, oh, IVF, boom, shoot the thing inside your, oh, baby, hey, it's not like that. It's a whole process. Ask people that have been through IVF, okay?
I think at that point, it was just like, when there's love, you're trying to find like the hope for it to work.
that was what
I think
it
that
was.
was what it was for us. And then, so I think the next thing we did was discuss with parents, just like they let the family know, because out of respect, you have to let the family know what you're marrying into. Because if you have sickle cell children, it's family that's going to be there for you.
Absolutely, it's going to be a lot.
Yeah. So funny enough, I feel like both our parents were on the same wavelength with us, and spiritually, they just had this belief that they just agreed with us.
Yeah, and they were not scared for whatever reason,
know.
which is very weird because my parents are actually a little, they take some time to warm up to like people. For example, for me, this is not the first person I brought home, Sha. So, but they took years to warm up. But for him, from the day I even told my parents about him, they're like, let's meet him. I'm like, hey, what's going on? And they met him and they're like completely smitten. They were like in love with him and everything. So this was like, for some reason, it was not even like a thing for them to worry about. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But I guess it's the whole spiritual aspect of knowing that this is what it's supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to. This is how it's supposed to play out.
Everything aligns well.
Yeah.
I think for my family as well, my parents are generally the first I'm bringing them. So that's that factor. But also my parents just kind of trust me and my sister. Like we just gained a certain level of responsibility from quite a young age, and then they see that okay, these people can take care of themselves. They see that they are mature. They've shown that they can handle responsibility, and so they kind of have come to a place where they trust us. So first of all, there was no question when I said this is the person I want to marry. There was never a question in that. And even when I said, oh, okay, this is it, we're AS, and I shared it with them, it was so encouraging that my parents also were on board. I think if either of our parents were against it, then I don't think it would have worked.
It would have been really challenging.
So I think it was just amazing that everyone was just aligned and saying, yeah, this is it, let's go for it.
Like literally all on the same page on the three parties.
Yeah.
On the side of three parties. So yeah.
Amazing. And I remember that we also like spoke to our pastor about it. And then it was because sickle cell is not a joke, guys. We're not here to trivialize it. It's real, and I know someone, a very good friend of mine, a particular person of note, Timmy Edwin, and you might have heard of her. She has the foundation Crimson Bowl Initiative. I respect her a lot, and she's doing a lot of work in that space. And I think she was recently awarded by the governor of Lagos State for the work she's doing, and she's really exemplary. So this is not to trivialize it, but so just the fact that our parents were on board and they were like, let's go for it, that kind of gave us that ginger. And then coming back to our pastor, we met and then we had a discussion. It was like, are you guys sure you want to go with this? Do you have the faith for it? And we just told him yes, that we're ready and we're sure we want to get married regardless.
Yeah.
And I remember that he just said, okay, I'll pray with you. And then and he prayed for us and he prayed with us. And I respect the fact that he also did not try to convince us otherwise. He just gave us the opportunity to just speak our minds.
Because his faith is not what is going to carry us. It's our own faith, our own belief. And we also got examples of people like, for example, the OK Onuzos who have 5 children and they're both AS and none of their children has sickle cell. So
Yeah, and I think they're both doctors, right?
they're both doctors.
Yeah,
They are both AS. They had five
children.
5 pregnancies, no
And
sickle
nurse.
cell. So I know that faith is such a strong thing. If we felt like our faith couldn't carry it, then I feel like we wouldn't have even ventured, because the Bible even says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So
Yeah.
is that you just decide this is where we're going and you just keep going like that? If you're going to put one foot in and one foot out, just forget.
Yeah.
Like, that was where we were.
Yeah.
Faith-wise.
Yeah, and I also want to say that hearing other people's testimonies about the fact that they're both AS and they have several children and non-sickle cell, that also is one of the powers of testimonies. When you hear other people's testimony,
strengthens your faith.
it strengthens your faith. And so we're able to like just say, we believe that in our case, we will not have any child with sickle cell. And so we just agreed. And then we used to pray every week.
Yeah.
We used to meet, and that was not the reason why we're praying. We just had we have tried to build the habit of praying and fasting
Our parents had told us that it's very good to start praying from the point where you decide to get married. Like, you should both pray, choose a day in the week and time where you meet to pray. Commit your future into the hands of God. Commit your children. Commit everything that has to do with you being a new unit, into prayer and into God's hands. And that was such great counsel.
Parents also joined us in prayer as well on their own.
Like
Thankfully, our moms
they
were
would
praying.
also meet, I think weekly or bi-weekly.
I don't know, but
they met pretty often. Like, they had their own agenda for praying, and they would
thank God for praying parents. And may we be praying parents too.
Like, it's really important. I think sometimes I personally feel a bit lazy because I have such praying parents that, like, you're so used to miracles happening in your life, you're so happy with, and so used to things going smoothly, you forget that because people are in the prayer room, they are on the war front on your behalf. But then, as a parent, you have to realize that your children are relying on you as well to be that for them. So you can't afford to be complacent in that area. And
that's one thing that's sorry to sidetrack a bit, but when I think about like this generation, I know we've talked about it sometimes in one of our videos about like how Gen Z, our generation as well, millennials and all that, like, we're going to be good parents. I believe we're going to be good parents. But so there's also like the world promoting more of this individualistic style of living where you live for yourself, you live for your ambitions, you live for your own goals and aspirations, and damn anybody or damn society. So like, how does that translate to like being responsible for a child? Sometimes it tends to lean on the side of selfishness, and so it's a bit complex, You feel like your parents do everything, you've gotten so much from your parents, and now it's time for you to give to your children. But you want to enjoy. And so it's a very thin line.
But
it's stressful sometimes.
But I feel like when it comes to it, just think about it this way, that nobody asked to be here. As a parent, you brought your child here or by your own free will. So it's your responsibility to make sure that they are secure. Your responsibility to make sure that you've given them everything that you could potentially or could possibly give them for them to have a really good life.
So the next thing, we had to like talk to the church. So you have a letter, there's a process. We're in Foursquare Church, Nigeria, and then we were in Foursquare Church, Nigeria, but we're in Nigeria. So there's a process of getting married. You have to get a letter from your pastor and also from the parents as well, because we believe that it's good and it's important that you have the parental consent. Generally, in Nigerian culture, is important. And so we had to do that. And then we also have to go through medical screening.
They always make sure that you do the screening before they marry you. And when they see that there are 2 people with AS, they would advise you to call it quits. They'll tell you don't do it. But then if you're still adamant, they will ask for permission from your pastor, I think, and your parents. Then they'll be like, okay, cool, we did our due diligence, we told you the risk, gave you information. If you want to keep going, do what you got to do. So and sometimes some churches may even pull out. Some churches do that, but also the medical screen also tests for like STDs and things like that are hidden, because I mean, you hear people that quote unquote they want to wait till the marriage bed, not because and malformations too.
Not because they actually care, but because they're hiding something. So that medical screen also helps with that.
That's so funny because I remember, not funny because it's actually, if it's you, it's not funny, but when they were talking to us, like in the classes, about some people that have gotten married, and then obviously they're not being sexually active, and they get married, and they realize that one testicle is missing, or somebody doesn't have boobs. They've been putting something in their bra the whole time, and then like the whole marriage is like
just messy,
a mess from the beginning. So because of that, they have medical screenings where they will check the essentials and also check the Well, everything's essential,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Everything's essential. They check your blood, they check your physical aspect,
Yeah.
and they're like, okay, cool, good to
Mhm.
go, you know?
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think so
Because,
too.
yeah, I think it is.
And then we went down to get married.
Mhm.
And we got married in 2020, February
Yeah.
29. So
Yeah.
next year makes it the first of all,
Woo!
first real
We made it.
anniversary for
Yeah.
us, 29th of
4
February.
years, but then it's our first anniversary.
Yeah, evergreen.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So yeah, when we got married, we had agreed I'll wait for a year and all that stuff. I'm sure some of you that have watched our former
Yeah.
videos, you already know what's up.
You said 1 year.
Yeah, and then after 1 year, we said, okay, we're really not trying.
Yeah,
to have,
we're not trying, but we're not like we agreed to try.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like we
Yeah.
didn't say let's try, but we did not try.
Yeah.
That was basically it.
And nothing was happening after 2 years.
Yeah.
I remember our pastor even called us to in a
Like,
very
how
nice way
far?
to say, just want to
Yeah.
check on us, and that
Yeah.
usually if after you just said some
Yeah,
things
he
that-
actually was not pressuring us, which I think there's so much wisdom in that.
Mhm.
There's some people that, on the other hand, were a bit more forward. I think I shared that also in a previous video, but that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there.
Mhm.
But our pastor was really understanding. I think also because it happened to him as well. I think for the first year or first 2 years, they didn't have
Mhm. 3 years maybe. Yeah.
pregnancy. So I think that experience makes you a little bit more sensitive to people who are going through or potentially going through that. He didn't even ask us like, oh, why are you not pregnant, blah, 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 like some people have asked us. But he asked us if we were ready.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be ready and trying and it's not coming. And it's another thing to just be like, we're not ready, so we're not trying. I know people who have gotten married and even before the wedding day, they said, hey, within the next 5 years, don't talk to us about it. We're not trying. So there's an understanding
Between the couples.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
don't get in between that.
when I have my children, they're not your responsibility. So you have no right to tell me
Yeah. You should respect.
when I should have babies because you're not going to pay school fees. You're not going to clothe my children. You're not going to feed them. So it's really not your problem. Do you get what I mean? Especially as an outsider. If it's family members, it can be a little bit more sensitive. So I really appreciated that from him. Yeah.
And then so fast forward to last year, November, when we discovered that we had babies.
No, we discovered we were pregnant.
Oh, well, no, was it October?
November 19th, I remember the day.
Okay.
November 19th was the day I found out I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And so we found out it was twins the month after.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh,
it
yeah,
was supposed
December
to be
8th or
my
something like that.
6
Yeah.
or 8 week appointment.
Yeah.
8 week, checkup.
Yeah.
So that was 6 weeks after I found out. Was that? No, 2 weeks after I found out. Yes, it was.
Yeah, I think so.
It was 2 weeks after
Yeah, I
I
think
found
so,
out I
yeah.
was pregnant
Early
because
December,
I was
yeah.
1 month at the time I checked.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks after that would be the 6th week.
Yeah. Okay. So.
The day before, I think I already shared this before. The day before I found out I was pregnant, I was doing my regular morning devotion, and the verse of the day was from
All good and perfect gifts
I've
come
forgotten the
from.
Bible verse reference, but basically all good and perfect gifts are from above, from the Father of light, in whom there's no
alright, yeah.
shadow of turning. And that verse had been coming before that, but I didn't put it together. But on that particular day, that was when it struck me, like, wait a minute,
This is a word. And at
This
that
is a
time,
word.
she didn't know that she was carrying babies or
Obviously,
baby.
because
or
that's
she
the
was
day before I
pregnant.
found out.
Yeah.
So I
So
told
this was
him,
even more
and
real, impactful.
yeah, for sure. And I told him, and when I told him, I was like, I feel like I know what this is about, you know, because also I may or may not have been missing my period because my period has like 3 days to come, and I was still well within the time frame. So when I told you, I had not officially missed the period. So, but it was just so clear what this was about. Like all good and perfect gifts are from above, from the Father of lights, in whom there is no shadow of turning. So I shared that with him, and then we prayed about it. And I was supposed to test 2 days after that, but then I was so impatient. I went and tested. Even though we agreed that I was not going to test, I couldn't take it. So I tested. So I came out on the 2 lies. I was like, what? Then I came and we discussed, and I was like, oh my God, I have a little baby girl inside me. And he was like, no, babies. I was like, okay, baby is cool, whatever,
While we were praying
Yeah.
for like we used to pray
That's
for
actually a very
twins.
important part to skip
Yeah,
over.
yeah. We talked about the fact we wanted just to go to pregnancy once and have
Yes.
2 children, and also we're praying for both of them to have AA genotype.
Yeah, that was because of the peculiarity of our genotype. We just
Yeah.
wanted to go through this thing one time and we wanted 2 children. I have always wanted twins,
Yeah.
even before finding out about, like, I've always wanted twins. So I was like, okay, well, now that we are both AS, can we
Yeah.
just go through this one time? 2 children, boom, one time, close chapter.
Yeah.
That's what we're praying for. So when we went through the scan and saw that it was twins, we were stunned, not because like we didn't believe God was going to do it,
Yeah.
but because like
The reality,
God,
when you see it,
really
when it becomes real.
go, wow. Like, do you get what I mean? Like the fact that we asked the whole creator of the universe, hey,
Yeah.
can you do this for us? He now honored you. God, it's a boss our brain. Like
it felt like the lady was asking, do you want to take a sit?
yeah,
I
he
was
was like,
no,
you
I'm
want to
good.
sit?
I'm
Like
good.
he was just like head spinning, like what's the word? Like wait, what? Wait,
I feel like my emotion right then was more like when you've had faith for something
Mhm.
and then you now see
You're in
it.
awe.
Yeah, in awe. Yeah, that's the word. That's
You
the
were
word.
in-
That's
you
the
were
word.
in
That's the
awe.
word. You
Just
have oil on your head. Yes. Yeah. Like wow, like wow.
Like stunned. I was so happy.
Yeah.
So and then I now remember the word, that word, all good and perfect gifts, literally carried us through
True.
the entire pregnancy.
Absolutely.
At every point, when they're like, oh, we need to check this. I'm like, no problem. When they say, oh, check for Down syndrome, I was like, it's fine. Let's check for this, it's fine,
Yeah. And
I
then
just had faith for everything being
I remember you went for one of the scans while I was in Nigeria, and then the lady that was scanning just kept saying, good, perfect. And then,
Good.
like, as she was scanning, she was just saying,
Perfect.
good, perfect.
And I shared it with my mom because you were still in Nigeria.
Yeah,
so my
yeah.
mom was with me. And I remember I was like, this woman, good, perfect. When we now left the room, I was like, Mommy, did you notice that she's saying good? She's like, I was just going to tell you too. Like, wow, that's so amazing. Like, of all the words to say
she kept using
throughout the
good.
scan, good, perfect,
Like, yeah.
good. I was like, God is just so like just reiterating. Like, I said what I said.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, just a reminder.
that's that.
And like pregnancy is a whole 9 months journey, and it's quite
Yeah.
long, sort of. And
Worry
it
can
is long
creep in.
actually. Yeah, worry can creep in. You start thinking, hey, this genotype thing, SS, this, that. But we had no worry about
At
it.
every point,
We were so
God was
confident
just
because that word
reiterating
just
what
he
he
just
said.
took that word,
Yeah.
So fast forward to the day of the delivery. My mind was on that as well. Like,
I don't
so
even
when
remember
the
that one
babies,
at all.
yeah, obviously you were in the trenches.
I was really trying to get out.
So while she pushed out the second and they were doing like weighing them and all that stuff, there was a nurse that was writing something on the body. I have a body to write like the information. So
The
she asked for the
name.
baby's names, was writing the time of birth and all those things on the board.
Yeah.
So I just went to her and I felt because in Nigeria, like genotype is something that we care about, you know. And so I asked her like, is there a possibility of checking for the baby's genotypes? And all? She didn't understand what I was saying at first because they don't do that here.
Yeah.
Apparently,
All white people are AA.
sickle cell disease is
It's peculiar to Asian people.
Is it
Some
Asian?
Asians and mostly black people.
Africans, yeah.
Mostly black people, not just Africans, like African descent.
People, I think in the tropics or something like that.
Yeah. So it's like white people. We didn't know that white people don't have sickle cell.
Majority of the Caucasians are just AA. All actually.
All Caucasians are AA.
That was one of the things I learned. Mm-hmm. So she was like, "Oh, okay." When she understood what I was saying, she now described to me like what they do in the Netherlands. They have what they call the heel prick, which is after a few days after. Yeah, they come to your house and then or wherever you are, and they take some blood from the baby's heel. And then they do some tests. That's when they find out the genotype and other things. And if the baby has any other like disease. Yeah. And so they took that, and then it will take like 6 weeks usually. They said if there's any issue, you'll get a call much earlier. But if not, 6 weeks after, you get a result in the letter. Just know that everything is good.
So we did the test. We were waiting. And then before we got the letter, we got a call.
Yeah, one
from the
day
doctor,
like that.
And then he was like, I want to talk to you about the heel prick, blah, 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 blah. We saw that your daughter's blood is abnormal. I'm sorry? We saw that your daughter's blood is abnormal. I'm sorry? I was like, you say what's in? So your daughter's blood is abnormal. I was like, what do you mean abnormal? I was like, do you know about sickle cell? When he just said that. See, like, oh God, like, it's as if I was hearing what he was saying from far.
You're not hearing anything again. Your mind. Wow, I remember that you were crying. You're like, what is this? What is this?
For
me.
And also, our daughter came really small.
Yeah, smaller
She
than.
came looking so different. We used to joke and say she's giving us alien vibes. She was so small. She was the reason why we were in hospital for that many days. So when he started saying this, you know, I started to say, oh gosh, maybe that's why she's like this, or maybe this why
Yeah,
this.
when she's
You
small.
start seeing.
Yeah, why is the eyes like this?
Do you get what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
And for me, also, I was trying to be strong for you, you know, like when after that call dropped, because and the guy was very, very funny because he said, so she confirmed, like, oh, are you saying is she a carrier or does she have sickle cell?
He said he doesn't know.
He said he doesn't know.
I
But
said,
then
why did
he's-
you call me, man?
yeah,
If you don't know, don't call me.
because actually many of them are not used to saying
Yeah.
that, you know. But
Yeah.
also he said something that was also a clue. He said, oh, the good thing about it is that she cannot easily have malaria and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, in my mind,
sickle cell
there's
doesn't have
nothing
any
good.
upside.
Yeah.
So she must just be a carrier. But at the same time, and I said, okay, fine. Does that mean she's just a carrier? He doesn't know. I said,
So yeah, we're left hanging.
Shite.
You know, we're left hanging. And I was also feeling some emotions because she was really crying and she was just worried. So I just came out to the sitting room. I think I carried Adu and I just sat down here and I was just like, God, are you trying to tell me that in my family, in my lineage now, we want to introduce sickle cell? I just was like, it was just a conversation, you know, in my mind. But I was not like, you know what? We believed you all through this journey of pregnancy and all that. But whatever the case is, if this is how it's going to be,
A
no
miracle
problem.
has to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't even thinking of a miracle. I was open. I was just like, whatever the case is,
Yeah.
we'll go through it.
I believe that if that was the case, a miracle had to happen because I don't see why you bring us this far just to, like, it's as if you just carried us in cable car to
And
the
then
mountain
Jawa.
top just to drop us. That was what it felt like. And I was like, no, you can't do that. I've not seen you do that before. So you're not going to do that to me.
So anyway, so we actually had to go into the hospital for something else as well. For you. So we met that same doctor, remember?
Yeah.
And we talked to him again. He still didn't give us
He
anything
said he
conclusive.
doesn't know.
Yeah.
That we have to wait for, like...
Yeah, and we had
weather.
moved from The Hague to where we stay now.
Yeah.
And
So I
so
told
we had
my-
to like change house sats or the doctor.
The doctor. I
Yeah.
told my sister about it, and she just felt like, nah, it's nothing. Like, actually, for her as well, for her baby, they did heel prick, and one of her babies is AS, and the same thing they did, like, as if your child is about to die tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because
so it's not common to them.
it's not something that they see
It's
with
very
white
rare.
people. So when they do see it, they're like, whoa, sickle cell, like,
They
you know
freak
what I
out.
mean? So she was like, don't worry about it. Like, I don't know why everybody in the family was so positive and so sure. My mom too was like, nah, it cannot be. My mom has also gone through hell and back, and she has never seen God fail. So based on all the things that we have seen from God, all the signs, she was like, it cannot be. It cannot be. And I actually expected my mom to freak out because I was freaking out. But my mom was like, no,
Yeah.
it cannot be said. Like, she was just
Don't
so-
agree with what you don't want.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the confidence was really helping me.
So that helped. Yeah.
It was really helping me.
That
Because
pulled
I
us up.
was like, hey, God.
And I know you said something that broke my heart. You're like, what do we do? Like, what do we do to this child? Like, and I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that when a parent may have a sickle cell, I think we encourage you to go easy on the parent because the parent themselves will be going through a lot because you're responsible for that child and
No
you don't
parent
want.
wants
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah.
And actually, when I was pregnant, I don't know, I feel like the devil was just trying to get to me. I will open YouTube and I will see videos of sickle cell warriors saying that, oh, you are a very wicked person if you have AA and you're AS and you marry each other. Like, love is not worth it. As in, you know, and I don't really follow these people. So I was like, why am I being suggested this? The devil was just trying to plant disbelief, trying to
some
plant
ideas,
fear in my mind and in my heart. And I'm just glad that when I see it come up, like, I won't even watch it. Like, I would just see from the thumbnail or the title and then I'm like, why are they suggesting? And it was not like I think we're talking about genotype. You know, sometimes they hear our conversations, so they'll not start suggesting content to you along that line. But this is not even something we were talking about. So I was like, this is definitely the devil. So I'm not even going to watch it.
6 weeks down the line.
Very long wait.
Yeah, I just went to check the mailbox. I think I went out. I was coming back. I just opened the mailbox and I just saw like it was shot from the Ministry of Health somehow, so we knew what it was. Feizon was good. We already knew that Fei didn't have any issues because he didn't get any call from him. So, but Adun was one I opened first, and as I opened it, there was a booklet that came with something about like
your child is a carrier.
Your child is a carrier of sickle cell. When you say a carrier of sickle cell, it was still not sure. I was still not sure.
Because of
You know,
doctor.
because of the doctor. So I now
I need
took, there was
this
an
one.
accompanying letter.
This one.
I just Google Translate straight. Took a shot, I read it, and
Yeah.
one of the things I looked for was just like, your daughter has no risk of being a sickle cell, of having sickle cell disease.
Yeah. Sit
She's
down.
only a carrier.
Hey God.
Wow.
Sit down.
And then we just said, God, we thank you, because we prayed for AA. He gave us one AA and one AS. We'll take it. You know,
We know
we're
it's
grateful.
for a reason.
Yeah.
We know it's for a reason because we're very specific. We said we wanted twins. He was particular about boy and girl because you have one of each.
Yeah.
I didn't really care. And
then
then we were also praying for genotypes, nobody to have sickle cell. In fact, we're just so extreme. We say we want A.
Yeah. Shoot for the stars.
Bruh, shoot for the stars. So, but
Nope.
above all, we were just completely elated, completely relieved, excited that
Man,
wow,
that
God
week,
really answered
That week was
our
a Thanksgiving
prayers.
week. That week was a Thanksgiving week. Because I would
Bro.
just burst into thanks. I'm like, God, thank you.
Bro.
Wow. Like, I'll look at her, I'm like, no, you're not looking like a
Yeah.
sickle cell child.
When that's
Everything's in
the
the mind.
that's the thing about perspective.
Yeah.
The perspective that you have is kind of like a colored pair of glasses. Like you're wearing a pink pair of glasses, everything has a tint of pink. If you're wearing yellow, everything has a tint of yellow. So if you're looking at somebody through the lens of this person is sick, you are gonna see someone who's sick.
Yeah.
You know, so we just thank God. And I feel like this video is not even just to share our testimony, but it's also for us to like be able to go back and remember, document the things that God has done for us, and just always stay in awe of God and all of the things that He's able to do and has done.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. So, and I remember a friend of mine actually told me that he had to break up with his girlfriend because of the genotype.
Yeah.
And I told him that, wow, that's okay.
Don't
That's
fault anybody for that, because if for you to do that, it means that you feel
you know what you're
led
doing.
to do that.
You take a decision
and
like
that's
that. Yeah.
absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Because if God was totally against us, I think it would have been very clear for us as spiritual people. I feel like it would have been exceedingly abundantly clear that this was supposed to be. So, like I said before, this is not a guideline for you to take.
This is not advocating for you to just
not at
marry
all.
indiscriminately.
No, it's not even a joke. Like sickle cell is not a joke.
Yeah.
So we're just sharing our stories. Take what you will from it.
Yeah, and I think so. I think I just want to, in my own parting shot or whatever, ending this video, I would just like to say that I think responsibly you should like try and get to know your genotype.
Yeah.
It's hard to like know genotype before your feelings, but if you know your genotype, it's also, these things are not like,
I feel like in the talking
it's not
stage,
science.
the first 2 dates, talk before emotions enter. I'm telling you, before you start to catch feelings,
I guess
talk about it, and then be like, oh, okay.
But to be honest with you, in my heart of hearts, I feel like this was how it was bound to happen in my life, because I'm not of that school of thought. I was going to say that what you said, but it cannot just come up. And I'm speaking from my heart. Truthfully, I'll tell you that for me, I cannot base my marriage or my life off of not science. It's very our baby boy is singing.
I don't know if you can hear him. So cute.
Like it's hard for me to say that just take one of your genotype. I believe that everyone's journey is different, you know, and some people might be able to handle it. Like we've seen, and there are stories of people who have, you know, successfully married and giving birth to children and all that, you know. So I would just say, like, just be responsible, know what you're getting into,
Absolutely.
count your costs. You know, if you are willing to do it, go into it with faith completely, and also be prepared to, you know, take responsibility for whatever comes. You know, that's just what I'll say. Yeah. So I hand over to you now of the page.
That's about that. I don't know what to say again. But that's basically our testimony about our children, our genotype, and
thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Share this with anybody that you feel like would benefit from this, who needs their faith strengthened, or whatever the case may be. And as usual, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video and for watching to this point. If you watched to this point, thank you. You have done well.
You have done really well.
Thank you. And if you are yet to subscribe and you haven't yet, I know you can hear our baby crying. Thankfully, we are done. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe right down below. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye, guys.